You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Election Day is less than 2 months away. Our very own Samantha Walker shows us how you can write in candidates on your ballot sheet.
Also, the city of Fort Scott will be tearing down homes in this city. We're going to hear the reason behind the mass demolition.
And we've got some scattered storms across parts of southeast Kansas, hot temperatures today, and possibly strong to severe storms this evening. The latest coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 o'clock on this Thursday morning. It is, we are getting much closer to fall, and we are almost done with September already.
Absolutely.
There's only 30 days, half September, so.
Believe it.
Oh.
And with fall comes the November election.
It does indeed.
Yes, with the November election less than 2 months away, can you believe it? Voters across the 4 states are looking at who the candidates are. The voters aren't necessarily limited to just who's listed on the ballots.
KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with election officials to find out what voters need to know about write-in candidates.
During election season, you might see on ballots the option to write in a candidate for an elected position, whether it be local, state, or national. A write-in candidate is someone voters can put down whose name does not appear on a printed ballot.
Maybe they didn't know they wanted to run prior to the original deadline to get onto the ballot. Or maybe someone could also decide they want to continue. They might have lost at a primary and they want to continue running and try again at the general.
Now, rules for write-in candidates can change between states, such as in Kansas. Candidates wanting to be able to be written in as candidates on the ballot need to pre-register with their county or the state. That same sort of filing is required for write-in candidates in Missouri, as well as 31 other states. If someone does not file as a write-in candidate ahead of the election, any votes for them will not count.
It doesn't matter how many votes they get. Even if they win, they would still not receive that victory, that office. So Donald Duck usually doesn't count. Minnie Mouse doesn't count. We have very creative voters sometimes that put those things in. But they might write in a name that hasn't certified, and that would be probably disappointing to them if they didn't understand how that actually worked.
For voters who wish to vote for a write-in candidate, ballots will have a space provided, when applicable, for you to put a name.
Make sure to fill in the oval so that the machine, the counter, can read that and throw it into a different spot for the teams to separate that so the write-ins could be counted at night.
I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, 9 states do not allow write-in candidates, and those states include Oklahoma and Arkansas.
Of course, you can find more election resources on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Of course, we've got information on when you can register to vote.
Yes.
You have those deadlines out there, so make sure that you check all of that out. And something else you're probably checking out right now is the weather as well, because we have some storms out in parts of southeast Kansas. So we're going to start first with a look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We've got mostly cloudy skies, courtesy of those storms that are off to the west. Take a look at that sunrise a few moments ago. That sky was pretty red out there. Still a little bit of an orangish hue from 7th and Rangeline. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking back down to the south. Also looking pretty good. Folks getting their day underway out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker. Here's this now, what is now really a thunderstorm complex. It was a bunch of scattered storms, and most of them have joined together. Now we do have one heavier shower just east of Mountain Valley, south of Parsons on 160. We got some thunderstorm activity rolling into Erie right now and pushing through Thayer, north of Neodesha on 75. And this bigger storm that was over in Greenwood County earlier this morning kind of merged with all of that other activity. Yates Center, you're still in the thick of it. It's not strong, it's not severe, but you still do have a decent thunderstorm right over you. So again, beware of that lightning and watch out for possible flash flooding. There's a lot of heavy rain. This thing's not moving very fast. It will eventually be rolling into Iola, Humboldt, and it already moving into Chanute now as it continues to lift off to the east out there. These showers and storms will continue to push out, but they'll also begin to lose their energy energy out there. And future track by noon showing where they are just about dead. Heading into the afternoon, though, hot, muggy, and partly cloudy. Then after 6, another round of storms, some of which could be strong, possibly severe, with some hail and damaging winds as the primary concern out there. So something we'll keep an eye on for you. Quick look at temperatures right now. We've got mid-upper 70s, and then we've got low to mid 70s, and even some upper 60s out there. But most of us into the 70s. We should be in the upper 50s. Highs today, low mid 90s, partly cloudy skies in between the storm chances, and heat index values up to 100. We're having another full look at your forecast, break down all these details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a new development in the investigation of a man found near Interstate 44. Authorities now have the car they had sought in the case. Someone had discovered the body in a ditch along the interstate near Joplin's Prigmore Street exit lane Monday afternoon, then notified law officers. Now, authorities identified the man as 63-year-old Jesse Gilmore from Oklahoma. Investigators had issued a public notice that they were seeking a specific car in connection with that case and gave the car's description and Oklahoma license plate number. Now, authorities say they have recovered that car in Independence, Missouri. They're still not giving details on the suspected cause of death or how the car might be connected to the case. Excuse me. Well, a federal jury convicts a Joplin man and an Arkansas man of kidnapping a woman and holding her in a hotel room in Neosho, Missouri. And the jury found both 51-year-old Freddie Tilton of Joplin and 39-year-old Alvin Boyer of Rogers, Arkansas, guilty of kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Authorities say Tilton beat and choked the woman in a room at the Boone's Lake Lodge in Neosho, rented for Tilton by Boyer. Now, sentencing will come at a later date. You can read more about the case on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, demolition could start soon on a number of homes in Fort Scott after city commissioners gave their approval earlier this month. KOAM's Melissa Alexis explains the project and the reason behind it.
Some of these houses that we tear down, I wouldn't want to see anybody live in with children.
6 homes in Fort Scott were submitted to be considered for demolition. Leroy Kruger, the codes technician, says one of the reasons is they're abandoned and bring down the value of the surrounding homes.
If we see a house that's dilapidating, falling in, we send a letter to the homeowner to basically let them know that they need to bring the house up to codes.
But if the house is not brought up to codes, they will continue seeking approval to demolish the house.
It being an eyesore would make a person not want to buy a house in that neighborhood.
Behind me is one of the homes being considered for demolition. He says many of the homes on the list to be demolished are considered unsafe.
The majority of these homes are unlivable and have become flop houses or houses where drugs or other illicit activities take place within those neighborhoods. Needles have been found on the porches, drug paraphernalia scattered across the yards, broken glass.
They hope demolishing these homes will allow room for new businesses and new homes that are safe for residents to live in, as more housing is a need in the Fort Scott community. Reporting in Fort Scott, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, owners who oppose the demolition of their home will be given a period of time to repair the building. And if they don't, the city could opt to move forward with the demolition process. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Captain William Davis of the Joplin Police Department joins us in the studio this morning. He's here to share the importance of emergency communications operators. We'll be right back, but first, it's Talk Like a Pirate Day. Here's a live look of a ship in Central City, Missouri. Welcome back. Captain William Davis from the Joplin Police Department is with us this morning. He's here to share the importance of Emergency Communications Operators. Well, welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us, as
appreciate you having
always.
us.
Of course, happy to have you. So talk to me a little bit about what emergency communicator operators do, and also, you're looking to hire quite a few of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the Joplin Police Department, our 911 Operations Center, they're a very critical part of law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And so, any time where somebody calls and they need assistance from the police department, fire department, EMS, all of that originates through our 911 center. And we need talented people that can come in and they can triage those calls and go through and help people and kind of be that first point of contact, that calming voice to help in those crisis situations and kind of direct what services they may need, whether it be, again, law enforcement assistance, emergency response, or the fire department, EMS. They direct a number of those responses. So we're looking to fill a number of different vacancies. And so if anyone's interested, we've got a lot of information posted on our Facebook page, or they can go to the City of Joplin website under our job section and fill out an application. We'd love to have them come in and be part of the JPD family. Absolutely
fantastic. It's a vital role, so definitely want to get those spots filled. And also, one of your captains reached an incredible milestone.
Yes, Captain Nick Jimenez graduated from the FBI National Academy here just this last week. And so that's a very intense program. It's one of the premier law enforcement training programs in the country. And so less than 1% of law enforcement officers across the country get a chance to go to this
incredible
training. So it's one of those, it's mandated that law enforcement gets a certain level of training and executive level training for command staff members. And so for him to get the opportunity to go is a great opportunity, and then to complete the class and everything that it entails, it's a huge milestone. So congratulations to Captain Jimenez, and we look forward to having him back at the Joplin Police Department.
Absolutely, a great win for the Joplin community there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get that training.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Always happy to have you. Stick around. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Thursday morning. It's the Skywatch Storm Tracker still showing this thunderstorm complex. It was initially against some scattered storms, but they all kind of merged together. We do have a moderate shower right over Altamont, just south of Parsons. We've got some heavier rain around Erie, Thayer, to the northeast of Neodesha, and really the 75 corridor is really getting it. Yates Center, it's starting to wrap up for you out there, and you can see this also is a little bit smaller than what it was earlier this morning. So these storms are on a weakening trend, a gradual one, but at least for now, Humboldt, Chanute getting in on the action, Iola, Moran, Ellsmore, Stark, you all are up next as this continues to push off to the east out there. So we just have this thunderstorm complex for right now, but then later this evening, we're going to have more thunderstorms, and some of these could be strong to low-grade severe. So we have a very low tornado risk. No areas are highlighted, which is great. And then we've got the low hail risk. So if you're along and north of I-44 across the entire area, could see some small hail. The greater concern at this point still with damaging wind gusts of 60-70 miles an hour. We have that elevated risk across most of southeast Kansas, parts of southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, and then we have a lower end wind risks kind of surrounding that. So what does that look like on future track? Well, by noon, this is what's out there right now, or at least what's left of it by noon. It'll be in that dying state as it crosses into Missouri around Nevada. The rest of us, partly cloudy, hot, muggy. It is not going to be September-like weather at all. We're talking upwards of 10 to 15 degrees above normal, and heat index values today approaching 100 degrees. If you can believe that, almost at the end of September, and we're talking heat index values up to 100. After about 6, though, we're going to see additional thunderstorms begin to develop across southeast Kansas and into Oklahoma, and these are the ones that could be strong, potentially severe. Now, they're scattered on the future track as they continue to lift off to the east. However, some data suggests we might get a line of storms, and that's why that wind risk has been up to that elevated status overnight, because there's looking like more data suggesting we'll get a line of storms that will push through. A few isolated storms continuing through about 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Then that clears out. Our Friday is another hot, muggy day. Temperatures upper 90s, heat index values again approaching 100, maybe even some lower 100s out there for some of us. Maybe an isolated shower storm Friday evening, but in all honesty, the better chances will come Saturday evening for more widespread rainfall. So some isolated pop-up showers and storms through the day on Saturday, mostly cloudy skies otherwise, and still pretty hot out there. But then once we get into the late evening hours, here comes another batch of showers and storms, and these will actually begin to increase in coverage with the approach of that frontal boundary. And so we'll see more shower and thunderstorm activity, especially as you can see in the northern half of our area as we go into very early Sunday morning. So at this point though, Saturday into Sunday, we don't have any severe risk areas highlighted, but still a few days out, of course. We'll keep an eye on that for you, but one way or the other, we're at least looking at some meaningful rainfall. Mostly cloudy skies in Joplin right now. 74 is where we're at. South breeze at 10. And remember, our overnight lows should be in the upper 50s, and we are already well above that. Most of us mid 70s out there, still some upper 60s in our far southeastern counties. While the partly cloudy skies for most of us, a few of those scattered storms again holding on through about 11 o'clock. Noon at the latest, and we'll be mid 80s by 11. Highs today again, low to mid 90s, heat index values to 100, upper 90s for us on our Friday, and then still hot Saturday, low to mid 90s. Cold front comes through, storms on Sunday, and we'll fall back into the mid 80s, even some upper 70s by Monday as we head into the first week of fall. After that, though, temperatures start to heat back up. That's checking your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News.
Welcome back. Tickets for the annual Joplin School Foundation Hall of Fame banquet are now available. And we have Kelly Perigo and Kelly Craigan from the foundation, and they're with us this morning to share more about this year's banquet. So welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So for those who might not know, can you talk to me a little bit about what the Joplin School Foundation is?
Sure. Our Joplin Schools Foundation is an organization that advocates for students in the district by connecting with alumni, community members, and donors to enhance educational experiences in the future of those students as well. So the foundation has raised funds to support many educational opportunities through the school district. We were able to put security cameras in all of the elementary schools. We purchased whiteboards for many of the classrooms, computers in the classes as well. And now our focus is on scholarships. And so in 2022, the foundation created the Hall of Fame banquet to raise funds for scholarships for students. Our hope is that one day we'll be able to provide a scholarship for every graduating senior. So the Hall of Fame banquet recognizes alumni that graduated 25 years ago or more from Joplin High School, Lincoln School, Memorial High School, and Parkwood High School. So we're excited to have our third annual banquet this year.
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit more about this banquet and kind of, who you'll be honoring and all the celebration that it entails.
Yes. This is a very prestigious event that we will be putting on, and it's to recognize all the alumni that has achieved and that have gone way and above on their educational careers and also helping out our community. Yes, this year I'll go ahead and tell you who we are going to be inducting. It will be Kyle Craig and Glenda Austin and Dr. Mitch Stennett. So we're really excited to have them as stars and to make them and celebrate with them. And we're just so excited for the event. And how you can get your tickets this year is you can go to joplinschools.org and go to the foundation, and then you will click on Hall of Fame inductees and then the banquet and then Eventbrite. So you'll click on those and you can purchase your ticket. This year it's going to be held at the Joplin High School and by the Performing Arts, and it's going to be in the Black Box Theater. It is wonderful that to get these tickets early because you need to you need to purchase these tickets by September the 25th. They're very limited, so it's very important to get on board right now to reserve your tickets. This again is wonderful. All of the funding that we are raising this year is to help our seniors to graduate with scholarships to reach their educational goals. So it's just wonderful.
Amazing.
And then we're going to be having our dinner. It's going to be provided by Mythos and the Joplin High School String Strolling Strings will be performing the music. So it's just wonderful, and we're just
Absolutely.
very excited.
Sounds like so much fun, so much fun. Well, thank you both for being with us
Yes.
this morning. Happy to have you.
Thank
We'll,
you.
of course, have all this information on our website later on this morning, KOAMNewsNow.com. Stick around. We're back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Noe. Well, Freeman Health System announces its new president and CEO. Tom Keller has served as president and CEO of Ozarks Healthcare in West Plains, Missouri for more than a decade. Before joining Ozarks Healthcare in 2014, Keller served as chief operating officer at St. Anthony Shawnee Hospital in Oklahoma and as CEO of West Valley Hospital and Phoenix Memorial Hospital in the Phoenix area. On December 1st, Keller will take the reins at Freeman from Paula Baker, who announced her retirement earlier this year. Baker served in the position for 13 years. The Oklahoma State School Board Association held a focus group meeting last night in the search for the next superintendent of Miami Public Schools. Now, the goal for last night's session was to get community staff members and administrators together to gather vital input about the qualifications they hope to find in a candidate. Among those qualifications, someone who is involved in the community as well as someone who keeps students their #1 focus.
Other challenges that we've faced are just making sure that we can make the most out of our state budgets and looking at enrollments. We need to make sure that our enrollment numbers are going up because our enrollment will tie right back to our financial decisions that we're able to make.
For those who couldn't attend, the district has an online community survey available on the school's website through October 4th. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
With a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, mostly cloudy skies out there, courtesy some storms off to the west. Same mostly cloudy skies from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, and from the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, looking back to the south. Skywatch Storm Tracker, here are those scattered thunderstorms out there. So this has really become, again, just one big thunderstorm complex, starting in the southern half of it, just getting ready to wrap up in Thayer, and it is into Parsons now. We've got this shower that's ahead of all of it, so Oswego, you may eventually get some rain, as well as McCune. Erie, you are in on it as well, and then the heavier activity is off to the north, and every time I adjust this further to the east, this thing keeps moving. So Ellsmore, Moran, Stark along 59, 169, and 54. We've got heavier rain coming into Humboldt and some thunderstorm activity, so remember, the lightning, dangerous and deadly, even if the storm isn't severe. Iola, you are also up next on this as this complex continues to push off roughly to the east. That storm was by itself, turned southeast, merged, all of this lifting east, and the future track actually shows us this is it by noon. Just some remaining showers trying to work their way into the Nevada area, but they won't last very long. We're going to be hot, we're going to be muggy, we're going to be breezy, south winds gusting up to 20. After 6, another round of thunderstorms out there in Kansas, some of which could be strong to severe with some small hail and damaging wind gusts as the primary concerns out there. Quick look at temperatures this morning. Most of us are sitting in the mid 70s out there, some upper 70s as well, and we still have some upper 60s off in our southeastern counties. Partly cloudy skies through today. Temperatures again low to mid 90s out there, and heat index values up to 100, so make sure you're staying hydrated. We're gonna have another look at your forecast, talk about these thunderstorms tonight and that cold front this weekend here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the Neosho Recycling Center is doing more than just breaking down material to be used again. KOAM's Anthony Saviello shows us how they're also using their facility as a library.
Plastic, aluminum, and books. All of them can be found at the Neosho Recycle Center. In fact, so many books come through the center that Diana Howell decided to do something about it.
We'd have customers come in and they would basically dig through the collection box of books. And once somebody brought in some good books that I knew somebody could be reading, I just collected them and set them on the desk.
Eventually, the book display got a little bit bigger.
Somebody offered me a bookcase, another customer offered me a bookcase, and now we have quite a little library going on here.
The center has processed over 650 tons of material this year, but Diana is doing her best to make sure as few books as possible contribute to that number. However, you could say that the books are, in essence, still being recycled.
Yes, it is. It's recycling. We accept any kind of paper product. Lots of people are bringing me books now, hoping that I can find a new home for them.
Some people don't even come to the center to recycle.
Some customers come in just to see if I've got any good books. So it makes me feel good that instead of being destroyed, they are being repurposed. People are reading them again.
Of course, it also provides a chance for Diana to nab a few books herself.
Our family has 4 copies of one specific book. One of them signed, but one came in about a couple of weeks ago. And I said, I don't think we have enough copies of that book. So, yeah, I took that one home.
This library may be small, but Diana says the meaning and purpose behind it serves a much bigger purpose.
We want to give back to the community, and if it's just a book that somebody has spare time to read, I can never keep enough Westerns on the shelf. But it's very satisfying, very fulfilling to do that for people.
In Neosho, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
If you'd like to find your next reading material, the center is open every weekday except Thursday today from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 2. You can also follow the center on Facebook, where they will post items that are available for reuse before they get recycled. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. She became the first woman bus driver in the 70s, and now the city of Nashville wants to honor her accomplishments. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look of a ship in honor of Talk Like a Pirate Day. And Consumer Watch this morning. Well, Tupperware has put the lid on, filing for bankruptcy protection. The Tampa, Florida company has had mounting losses due to poor demand for its food storage containers. The Tupperware sales slumped in recent years as the company struggled to place more of its products in retail stores and online sales platforms. Now, Tupperware has historically relied on independent sales representatives to move its products, but that strategy has failed to reach modern consumers. A new Lending Tree survey says parents pay about 40% more for childcare on 2 young kids than for rent in most parts of the country. Now, Lending Tree looked at federal data and Child Care Aware of America info. The survey found monthly costs for 2 young kids was $2,182, while rent for a 2-bedroom unit across the nation's 100 largest metro areas is about $1,566. Well, a new national report on cancer rates gives good news overall, but expresses concerns about remaining cancer risks concerning alcohol use. Now, the association's Cancer Progress Report says excessive alcohol consumption increases the risk of breast, colorectal, liver, stomach, and certain head and neck cancers, and even child leukemia. Now, the report says 5.4% of cancers in the U.S. in 2019 were related to alcohol consumption. It's the news many have been waiting for. Interest rates are finally coming down for the first time in 4 years. The Federal Reserve made the announcement cutting interest rates by a 0.5 percentage point. This aggressive move is intended to prevent a recession and signals the central bank is happy with how inflation is coming down. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor explains.
Borrowing money for a car, home, or on a credit card will get a little cheaper, thanks to the Federal Reserve slashing interest rates for the first time since 2020. Policymakers trimmed the rate by 50 basis points, bringing the range to 4.75 to 5%.
Our patient approach over the past year has paid dividends. Inflation is now much closer to our objective, and we have gained greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2%.
The White House applauded the move for bringing some relief to borrowers.
It's a moment of progress. I think that's how we see this, and also a recognition of how far we have come.
Most economists support the rate cut and wish the Federal Reserve would have done this months ago. But some warn it's not going to fix everything.
The solution to our problems is to cut tax rates, not interest rates, and to do something about this massive government spending and debt.
Former President Trump wanted the Federal Reserve to wait until after the November election to cut rates. The economy, after all, is the #1 issue for voters, and the central bank is supposed to be apolitical.
They have a meeting in November, just days after the election. They could have done a big one then, and no one could have accused them of playing politics.
I don't believe, like I said, the average American is going to see a difference at the gas pump or in the grocery store.
The Fed's forecast also calls for another half-point cut to interest rates by the end of the year. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 7:43 on this Thursday morning. Starting with Skywatch Storm Tracker, got this thunderstorm complex over southeastern Kansas. Starting on the southern half once again, we're got the heavier showers into Thayer, Erie, just in between Parsons, backside, west side, east side, and a few light showers near McCune and to the south and east. Girard, you probably get in on a little bit of this. Hepler, you're getting in on it as well. The heavier rain again now outside of Yates Center, in between Yates Center and Iola, so you are up next in the next few minutes. Humboldt, it's coming in right now, as well as into Chanute, and as we drag this a little further to the east, Moran, Ellsmore, Stark, eventually getting in on it. Now, if this holds, which it's expected to begin to kind of die out, so still some rain, but lighter rain, but it will eventually travel down the 54 corridor and points east. So we're talking Hepler, Fort Scott, Girard, very likely going to get at least some kind of rain activity. And then on the future track, we're looking at it being in an even further decayed state as it gets closer to Nevada and say points as far south maybe as Lamar. So we can show you that on the future track in just a moment. However, we have another round of storms that's expected later this evening. Those could be strong to low grade severe. We don't have any areas highlighted for tornado risk, which is good news. But if you are along and north of I-44 across our entire area, we have a low hail risk. But the bigger concern so far is with an elevated wind risk across the bulk of southeast Kansas, stretching into parts of Vernon and Bates County in Missouri, and then back into Washington, Nevada, and Craig counties in northeastern Oklahoma, and a low wind risk that surrounds that. So we're talking winds 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. So the future track by noon, this is what we're looking at in terms of that shower complex or those thunderstorms now around the Chanute area and just to the east of Yates Center. Should be in a decaying state by noon. And then we'll just simply be partly cloudy, hot, and muggy, and we'll be breezy. South winds gusting upwards of 20. After 6, thunderstorms expected to begin to develop once again across Kansas, stretching down into Oklahoma. This is the window of where we could see some strong to severe storms as we push through the evening. By 9, they're crossing into the Missouri side. You got thunderstorms from Nevada down to Lamar, maybe even as far south of Joplin, and then isolated storms to scattered storms back behind that, parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. And those isolated storms could continue through about 2 a.m., but they're going to be very isolated. A lot of us will be dry, or at least drying out after about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We head into our Friday. We're going to have another hot, sunny, muggy day. It's going to be miserable across the area. Future track is showing the possibility of maybe a couple of stray thunderstorms by late Friday, but I think for the most part, our Friday is dry. Saturday, we're mostly cloudy. Initially, some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms, and then later in the evening on Saturday comes another round of showers and thunderstorms. Now, we don't have any areas highlighted for severe weather Saturday night into Sunday at this point, but as you can see, these thunderstorms are going to increase in coverage instead of decrease, and virtually the entire northern half of our area by 1 o'clock Sunday morning getting in on some much needed rain and some thunderstorm activity out there. Looks like it's about to rain in Joplin, but that's just those clouds from the thunderstorm complex in Kansas. 74, south breeze at 10, with of course mostly cloudy skies. We got the south winds bringing in warmer air, so most of us are in the mid to upper 70s. We still have some upper 60s in our southeastern counties as well. So we'll have those scattered storms again continuing through about noon for parts of Kansas and some of southwest Missouri, and then they'll begin to fizzle out mid 80s by 11. We're looking at heat index values today up to about 100 degrees. Same again tomorrow with sunny skies, cold front, thunderstorms Saturday into Sunday, low 90s Saturday, mid 80s Sunday, upper 70s Monday as we head into the first week of fall, and temperatures warming up toward the end of next week. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, she was just a little girl who was asked to move from her bus seat at the front of her bus due to the color of her skin.
Now, the city of Nashville is honoring her with a mural for her accomplishment. Forrest Sanders shares Elizabeth's remarkable story.
No matter where he is, Harry Duff is proud to show you a picture of his wife, Elizabeth Duff.
He's been showing this picture for at least 45 years.
Well, since she had it made, I couldn't help myself.
Well, there are a lot of reasons to be proud of Elizabeth. She was a little girl growing up in a segregated Nashville in the 1950s. On her very first bus ride, she wanted to sit up front, but she was stopped. She was told that was only for white passengers.
She said one day, I'm going to sit up front, but she said, I'm going to drive.
Then came 1974.
MTA was hiring women.
Driving around her city, Elizabeth became the first woman to be a bus operator for Nashville's then called MTA.
She opened the door. She not only stepped in by herself, but she left the door open for somebody to come behind her.
Elizabeth drove for 33 years and retired. She died in 2021. Her name is now carried by the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at Wego Central. And in here, something is bringing Harry and the rest of the family for a visit.
For the riders who pass through here on the transit center that bears the Duff family name, they will know that name in perpetuity.
Elizabeth's husband, Mr. Harry Duff.
Harry speaking at a mural unveiling in honor of his wife.
She got to drive, so she got to fulfill some of the dreams that she wanted.
It's time to see it. Something you should know. That picture of Elizabeth that Harry's carried all those years? Now, everyone's going to see it. This 1,400 square foot mural was created by members of the nonprofit Creative Girls Rock. It's hard for a family to put into words how they feel about this work. Harry and Elizabeth's son, Seneca, views it as capturing an inspirational person.
For all the young women across the city, across the nation, she's someone to look up to. I am very proud of her and what she accomplished. Can't be afraid to take that step forward to do something that you think you couldn't do.
Certainly impressive.
Yeah.
Very deserving of that, and a fantastic mural as well.
Absolutely, and great to see the whole community go out and support her.
Oh, absolutely. We've got some thunderstorms out in parts of southeast Kansas this morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us exactly where those are, and they are continuing to lift off to the east, roughly east-northeast. So Pittsburgh, you might get in on some light showers. Same with Weir, McCune. Should stay north of Columbus. Parsons, maybe one more light shower. Erie, you got some heavier rain though. Hepler may get in on some heavier rain. Fort Scott, I think it's going to be in that weakening state by the time it gets to you. So we're talking maybe some lighter showers out there. But Iola, Chanute, you're just starting to exit out of this. But Erie, Stark, Ellsmore, Moran, Iola, going to get some heavier rain, some thunderstorm activity out there as this continues to push off to the east. Then this evening, we have that opportunity for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area, with damaging wind gusts being the primary concern. By noon, this thunderstorm complex is beginning to die out, and I want to show you this evening after 6 we start to see scattered showers and storms roll through, and some of these could be strong to severe. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A federal jury convicts a Joplin man and an Arkansas man of kidnapping a woman and holding her in a hotel room in Neosho, Missouri. The jury found 51-year-old Freddie Tilton of Joplin and 39-year-old Alvin Boyer of Rogers, Arkansas, guilty of kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Sentencing will come at a later date. Well, the Oklahoma State School Board Association held a focus group meeting last night in the search for the next superintendent of Miami Public Schools. The goal for last night's session was to get community, staff members, and administrators together to gather vital input about the qualifications they hope to find in a candidate. And Freeman Health System announces Tom Keller as its new president and CEO. Keller has served as president and CEO of Ozarks Healthcare in West Plains, Missouri for more than a decade. Keller will take the reins at Freeman on December 1st.
And we're taking a look at that forecast again. After these morning showers and storms, we're talking low mid 90s for highs, heat index values up to about 100, and south winds gusting to 20 with partly cloudy skies. Then after 6, another round of showers and storms. Again, some of those could be strong to severe with damaging winds as the primary concern, and still mild tonight. Low to mid 70s. Be hot and muggy again tomorrow, upper 90s across the region. Cold front comes in this weekend, late Saturday and into Sunday, bringing us more thunderstorm chances and some much needed rain and at least a little bit of a cool down as we head into next week.
Oh, that'll be nice. Well, a Russian amateur gardener broke national records by growing a 1,801 pound pumpkin. Alexander Chusov's achievement surpassed the previous record of 1,700 pounds, making his pumpkin the heaviest ever grown in the country.
And the competition was part of the annual Autumn Festival at the garden, which was founded by Tsar Peter the Great.
It's huge. I mean, I don't even think I could imagine that pumpkins could be that big.
Think of how much pumpkin spice you
Right.
could get out
Pumpkin
of that
pie.
thing. Pumpkin pie. A lot of great resources with a pumpkin that large. Well, again, we got those storms rolling through. Those will fizzle out more tonight, so make sure you stay with KOAM, and we'll be back at noon with more news and weather.
Have a great rest of your morning.